You'll recall at the opening of the summit, I challenged you not to sit back and watch the show, but to stand up and get engaged. So I've got to say, congratulations to all of you for indeed accepting my challenge initially. To everyone that spoke at the conference, that asked questions at the conferences, that had dialogue at the social events, that's challenged your thinking, that paid attention to the dynamic speakers and so on. Thank you so much. That's what makes these summits happen. And indeed, in my mind, albeit a little biased, I think you've been a part of making history here with us, and so that's very exciting. As Jen presented, the world is buzzing. And our call to action now is to ride the wave, to continue to make a difference. This is, as I said this morning, this is not the beginning of the end, but this is the end of the beginning. We've got to change the world, as Mike explained to us, and we can do that with our own actions. We can do it with our advocacy efforts. We can do it with what we've learned here, and I challenge each of you to work with me and with each other to go back home and start and continue in many respects the work that we've been doing. I want you to know, and many people have asked me, what's next? And so literally what's next, starting in about 3 hours now, a small group of people from here have been invited to the post-summit legacy workshop, where we're going to talk about, within the 15 and even more countries, what are we going to do next? Okay, so this is great. We're all over the newspapers. The Twitter sphere is excited about us and so on. That's fine. Now, how do we ride that wave? How do we translate that into resources to make a difference? How do we influence policymakers because of that? How do we change our own behaviors and the activities in our neighborhoods to make a difference? So that's what's happening after this. And to keep up on things, certainly Active Healthy Kids Canada is going to be communicating with you, but if you're looking for the legacy outcomes of this, the information, the knowledge mobilization things, please visit the Active Healthy Kids Canada website for those things. They're being made for you to use in your own context. That's what it's all about. I also want to remind you, in time you're going to receive requests for you to send evaluations on the Global Summit. Those will be instrumental in helping guide us, the big us, those of us around the world, in terms of what's next, in terms of a global summit or something like this, or a repeat of the Global Matrix. So please take the time to complete that information. And now I would like to introduce Marie Godet, an Ojibwe from the Wikwemikong Unneeded Reserve on Manitoulin Island, to offer a traditional closing and song. Marie?
I'd like to say good afternoon to each and every one of you. Minadota Makwendishnikaz, Majikerodem. Just introduce myself in my native language. I work at the First Nations School of Toronto, downtown Toronto, and we work with children JK to grade 8. I'm here to wrap up this conference, offer a closing, but I wanted to, again, just talk a little bit about cultural practices that support that movement in living healthy lifestyles. The medicine wheel concept that we follow, which have the 4 quadrants of the medicine wheel, that talks about that balance of life. You know, when we come into this world as a spiritual being, and then we become emotional, and the mental and the physical aspects are a concept that we try to incorporate in our lives and at First Nations School to share and teach the children how to live that balanced, healthy life. So with the work that you're doing as educators, I'd like to commend you on taking this initiative to work within your own, with your people and your communities. And I'm going to leave you with this song, which is called a Seven Grandfathers song.
Thank you very much, Marie. And now, just to close the Congress, I'd like to call upon the Chair of Active Healthy Kids Canada, Dr. Angelo Belcastro.
Thank you, Mark. Well, fantastic. It's been a great time since Monday evening. This kind of a venture can't happen by itself. It's not spontaneous. There are a lot of planning needs to go into this kind of venture. And on behalf of the Board of Directors of Active Healthy Kids Canada, sorry, I've been talking too much this week. We just want to express our thanks to a few people who've made a difference for us here over the last 3 days. In particular, the physical space. I'd like to thank the Weston Harbor Castle, Metro Connections for the facility, Meridian Incentive Consultants for all of the help making the physical place to our needs. As well, I'd like to thank the volunteers, the first face that you saw when you came into the conference. Very energetic, bright young people, and I want to thank them all personally for their contribution to this meeting. We've heard about the media, we've heard about the report card. I'd just like to introduce a few people who had quite a bit to do with that, and if they could come up to the front when their name is called, it would be greatly appreciated. Sean Lenny, Rebecca Jones, Catherine Jensen, Joel Barnes. All of these people helped either with media, with the tweets, with the report card development, with the summit logistics. And so I just want to bring them up here to personally thank them for their efforts on behalf of Active Healthy Kids Canada. I didn't think we were having a photo op, but with some of the media people up here, I should have thought of that beforehand. Thank you. I'd like now to introduce our steering committee that helped long hours, good debates, good discussions over the last several months and years. Casey Gray, if you could come up, Rachel Shantz, Art Salmon, Elio Antunes, Michelle Braunwig, Peter Kaczmarek, and JP Kaput. If you could please all come up, that would be great. Okay, I'm just going to ask Lindsay Whiting to come up here. The things she's done is just too long of a list for her to be introduced properly. But Lindsay was the backbone of everything that you saw and felt and experienced this week. So. Great. And finally, but not least, obviously, our administrative support and chair for the steering committee and the summit, and our chair, Mark Tremblay. So Jennifer Kawi, Bonnie, and Mark, would you please come up? And lastly, I'd like to thank all of you, the delegates here. You've put a lot of time and effort to make this a success. We asked you to be engaged, to be courageous, and you did that. So thank you so much. And please, please be safe travels on your way home.